congratulations to all of us. All of you, I want to say congratulations to the spouses and family members, because you can't be Latino leaders if you're not part of a pack. Right? So shout out to the spouses and the family, and a very special shout out to my wife Marissa and my beautiful children, Angelito and Celine, who are in Connecticut right now. Hopefully they're sleeping. But they're as much a part of this journey for me as the work that I do. You know, I want to give a special acknowledgement to the generations that came before us that allowed us to be called Latino leaders. Those who paved the way for us, those whose names you won't see in headlines, those who don't have maybe fancy letters after their names, fancy titles. It's important to name them. For me, Avelino Cardona, Maria de la Paz Traverso, Germana Muñiz, my grandparents who traded the paradise of Puerto Rico for the projects of Connecticut so that the next generation could do better. For me, Latino leaders are Hector and Sarah Cardona, my parents who, you know, they grew up in the projects, and I always say I was born rich, but I didn't have a lot of material possessions. I had a good foundation. And with a very strong foundation, skyscrapers can be built. So for me, I want to acknowledge that generation that came before me. That generation that, like many of us, when we got here, we felt like second-class citizens because maybe we had a little bit of an accent, maybe we were a little darker, maybe the food that we brought into school was a little different, right? We didn't feel like we belonged. Now I proudly say that bilingualism and biculturalism is my superpower. That culture of assimilation, we can get rid of that now. Now we can elevate and say, knowing two languages, being able to code switch the way we code switch, makes us more intelligent, makes us more capable, makes us more relevant. Something that I'm very proud of. And at the Department of Education, along with my amazing team that's here, we're unapologetically promoting bilingualism and biculturalism as a superpower in this country. We need more multilingual education in this country, and we're going to do it. You know, a little story about my own experience growing up in Connecticut. I was Michael, growing up in school. Michael. Nothing wrong with Michael, but in 7th grade, I said, Mommy, what does it say on my birth certificate? Does it say Michael? She goes, no, nene, tú sabes. She said, Miguel? And I said, well, why in school? Why do they call me Michael? Like it was yesterday. I remember walking into the office in my middle school, looking at the clerical staff there and saying, could you please change every document from Michael to Miguel, porque yo soy Miguel Cardona. That was a moment that I had that I remember like yesterday. And another moment that happened more recently was standing in the cabinet meeting room, waiting for President Biden and Vice President Harris to come in from the Oval Office. We had our cabinet meeting. And as we usually do, the cabinet members are there, we're talking, we're chatting about, you know, the issue of the day. Usually a lot of things to talk about. And there's a beautiful portrait of George Washington in the corner of the cabinet meeting room. And under the portrait were some of my colleagues, so I walked over there as we were waiting for the president to come out. And I started talking to my colleagues under this beautiful portrait of George Washington. I started talking to them in Spanish. Because for the first time ever, 3 of my colleagues there were Latinos. And we just started code switching naturally because it was Ali Mayorkas, Javier Becerra, and Isabel. And I thought to myself, what a moment. What a moment. We're here. And I always say it, I'm as American as apple pie and rice and beans. So I want to say, vamos a seguir pa'lante, and I want to just grab a glass and do a toast with you here. So the toast is for the giants whose shoulders we stood on, and also for the next generation of Latinos that are looking to us to open up the path for them. And I'm going to do it old school Boricua style. I want you to take your glass and go pa arriba, pa abajo, pa el centro, pa dentro. Salud. Thank you.